to your
So do you
question.
have an
It's
answer?
impossible.
So do
Yes,
you
I
have an
provided
answer?
you with the answer, so I'll do it again, okay? So, in order to establish that this thing is illusionary, we start with the presumptions that one, the universe exists, two, that you can learn something about it, and three, that models of reality with predictive capability are more reliable than ones without. And once you start with these philosophical presumptions, then you can start engaging with what we refer to as reality. That's our only reference point. We have no other grounding for it.
Yeah, okay, so you just didn't answer my question there. I asked you what is an illusion if it is not some departure from recognizing reality. What is an
Right.
illusion?
The thing that we are recognizing currently, we assume
No,
it's
just
reality.
what is an illusion? Just tell me what an illusion is.
An illusion is a departure from what the thing is that we perceive and we assume is reality.
Oh, okay, what we assume is reality. So if I assume that the DMT hallucinations are reality, then everything else is an illusion. Is that your viewpoint?
From your perspective, you would believe those things to be illusions, absolutely.
So reality
And
just depends
that would be
entirely
a
on perspective.
justified true belief.
Okay, so I assume everything I believe is true, so therefore it's all true.
No, is it just what's the justification?
It's all. I assumed it was true. You just said whatever I assume is true is reality.
That's not what
I
I
assume it's
said.
true.
Repeat back to me what I said.
Okay. So then let's go back through the flow again.
How
What
are you
is an
confused
illusion?
about everything I'm saying? What
What
is this
is an
actually how you
illusion?
have conversations? Because
What
I'm
can
this is
you just tell
frustrating.
me what an illusion is?
I told you. I'll say it again. Okay.
Yeah.
Follow along. Write it down. People, write it down for him. Next time he asks, I won't answer it again. So an illusion is a departure of our perception of the thing that we assume is reality.
Right. What we a departure from what we assume is reality. That's what an illusion is. So if I assume that the DMT hallucinations are true, then the illusion is everything else, and the DMT hallucinations are
Right.
reality.
And that would be
Is that correct?
justified true belief. Correct. That would be
Okay.
justified true belief.
So I am going to assume that everything I believe in is true, and then everything else is an illusion.
Yeah, that doesn't follow. That doesn't follow.
Like, are you retarded or something?
That does not follow. Right. So if you are like a philosophy guy, just write me a syllogism from the things that I stated using those as premises, and then derive the conclusion of what you stated that you can just assume everything that you believe is true, how that follows. Go ahead, because you can't
I,
do it because it doesn't
I mean,
logically follow.
it was
You
pretty
didn't use
clear to
logic
me.
here.
It was
You
pretty
used
clear
no
to me.
logic.
I don't know.
Okay,
I
well if
don't
it's
know what
clear,
kind of.
provide
I
a
don't know what kind of
syllogism.
stuff
Come
you
on.
have in your brain or whatever. I'm gonna go and get a glass of water because it seems this is going to continue for a while. Um,
It
I,
probably
I,
won't
I,
continue that long, but yeah.
I do want to get into this liar's paradox thing as well because I mean this has not lasted very long on this point.
But this is like baby philosophy that you're doing, though. You're not even doing like grown up philosophy. This is kind of crazy. So we can't really have a grown up conversation in this way if we, can't establish that people have to assume things before they do philosophy. Everyone knows this. This isn't even contested.
I would say like we could try to cut down on the meta talking a bit, but yeah, in general, it's been a pretty decent conversation. I think you guys should totally.
I'm about to shoot myself in the fucking head. Uh,
No, I get why you're frustrated, Dan, but I can also see why he's frustrated. You guys just have like totally different foundations.
but he can't even. I'm like, how do you ground this foundation? He's like, you don't have to. What? That's
It's an
an ant.
axiom.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but
Yeah, but maybe he
just
doesn't
try to.
understand
You
that
are getting a
axioms still
little
have
heated.
grounding.
Cause like I think I'm like I would say I'm probably more so on your side, Dark, but you are getting heated a little bit. So
Dude, I'm getting heated because he's not listening to a fucking word I'm saying and he's talking over me. And is he like British? What is he?
let's just try to avoid the meta talk a bit, like Zulu's trying to engage with you. And
Well, it's hard to have a conversation when they act like this, though. How do
it
you
is
do
also
that?
hard to have a conversation when someone's like yelling and upset too. So I mean, it goes both ways.
Because, okay, that's the thing. An axiom still has grounding, right? Whether or not you could say, like, hey, there's some logical grounding, as in there's internal consistency. Like Euclid's axioms are grounded in the desire for consistent geometry or something, right? Or like, that you can, I don't know, you still need some. He's just saying it just is.
What do you think an axiom means?
An axiom is just something that's accepted, generally accepted without proof within a particular system, that it serves as a starting point.
Generally accepted without proof? No. An axiom in the
That is
philosophic
what an
sense.
axiom is.
An axiom in the philosophic sense means that it is something which is before proof. Before you have proof, you need axioms. It is the given. It is what is at the very base level.
Yeah, but the thing is that it's supposed to be foundational to a system, right? So if axioms are these foundational truths, right? The question is, where are they coming from? If it's a presumption,
I
that
don't
would
think
be
they
some
come
like
from somewhere.
provisional assumption that you make for practical reasoning.
I don't think axioms come
Right.
from somewhere.
How do you discover them?
Primarily through sense perception.
So then that's literally you saying that axioms are grounded in empirics.
Right, but they don't come from somewhere.
There
There isn't
what?
something below axioms. Axioms are
Okay,
subsumed
but
by
you
all
just
knowledge.
said, I was asking you what your axiom is grounded in. Now you're saying your axiom is grounded in observation.
I'm saying
Before
that's how
you
you
were saying it
discover it,
just
yes.
is. Okay, so now
Yeah,
we have a different
it
answer,
just
which is,
is, yes. How
well, you're
you
saying
discover
now you
anything
said
is
it's grounded in
perception. I'm an
you said
empiricist.
you but you said it's grounded in observation. And if it's grounded in observation, we can start there. Um, but that wasn't the answer that you said previously. So, but we're moving along, which is great. All right, so we're moving along. This aspect of we determine reality exists. It's because we observe something, right? That's kind of how we determine that the universe exists. We are observing something.
Yes, namely, that would be subsumed by any observation, right? Any observation would rely, if you abstract out, oh, this thing exists, this thing exists, oh,
Mhm.
things exist, things that exist, existence exists.
So it's
That's how you come to
impossible,
that
for
knowledge.
example, right? So it's impossible for example, for your current perceptions to be an inaccurate representation of reality.
It's impossible for perceptions to be inaccurate. I don't think illusions are perceptions. Perhaps you're perceiving
Wait,
the
that's not what I
LSD in your
asked, though.
brain or
I
whatever.
said for your perceptions to be an inaccurate representation of reality. That's what I asked you. Is that possible?
Yeah, and I'm saying I don't think it makes sense to call it a perception if you're not perceiving something.
Okay, the things that you believe that you are perceiving, is it possible for that to be an inaccurate representation of reality?
That I believe, I could be wrong in my beliefs. Yes, I could
Yes.
believe that I'm
All right, we're
perceiving the
getting
Eiffel
somewhere.
Tower, but not perceive the Eiffel Tower. That doesn't mean that
Okay,
I
cool.
am perceiving the Eiffel Tower.
Awesome. Okay, we love it. We're getting somewhere, and this is great. So then, for example, it would be possible in that instance, you believe you're perceiving the Eiffel Tower, but the Eiffel Tower doesn't even exist. That could be possible.
Yeah, people can have bad beliefs.
Cool. Okay, so since we've grounded this, would it be fair that that would be an example of an illusion? If you
I
believe
never
that
said
you were
that
perceiving
illusions
the
are.
Eiffel,
I never said that illusions never happen.
cool. But we're working through baby steps, right? We're working through. So now that we established that humans can perceive illusions, right?
Nope.
We Sorry, not perceive. You hate the word perceive regarding illusions. That humans can
Experience an illusion. Let's say that.
experience illusions, not perceive. Okay, they can experience illusions. Cool. I'm cool with experience. Okay, so that humans can experience illusions. Is it possible that all the things that we're experiencing currently are an illusion. All
Nope.
illusions. How is that not possible?
Again, I gave it earlier. If you have everything being an illusion, that's a stolen
I didn't say
concept.
everything. I just said everything we're experiencing. There could be things that we're not experiencing that's real, but I'm just saying all the things we're currently
What do you think?
experiencing being
What do
an
you think that
illusion.
everything means in the context of perceptions? It means
I said
every instance
everything
of
we're
perception.
experiencing. So
It
that
means
does not
every
include
instance
every.
of perception. That's what everything means in this context.
Well, not perception. Remember, you don't like that word, experience. Okay.
Sure,
So I'm
every
talking
instance of
about
experience.
right.
That's what that means.
Everything that we and let's be clear. When I say that we're experiencing, I can just be referring to you and me here. Let's say there's other things that can actually be perceived by other things. We just don't even have access to that. Let's say, for example, The Matrix. Maybe you're familiar with that movie, right?
Mhm.
The Matrix. In The Matrix, is it like you have people that believe, uh, like they are experiencing something that is not the universe? You would agree that's occurring in The Matrix, that The
They
Matrix
are
is not
they are experiencing some part of the universe, namely this computer
some
program.
part of the universe, right? But for example, they are not perceiving the actual Eiffel Tower. Instead, they're perceiving some like digital representation of the Eiffel Tower. You would agree with this, right?
In much the same way as if I just put on a VR headset.
Um, no, because in a VR headset, you're in a VR headset, but they think this is like real. They think
I might
all
be
of this is
retarded.
real.
You never know. I might be retarded, and I put on this VR headset and I
You
forgot
could
about it.
be. I don't know you that well, but I'm just saying in the case of the Matrix example, I just want to keep it in this example. In that example, these people believe, right, that all of these experiences are accurate representations of reality. And of course, you would say that, and we know that they're not, right? That's not really the Eiffel Tower. That's not really a stake. Not
Do we
right.
know that? I thought I. So we can have no, we can have certainty, can we?
We can't. Based on this
Oh, so we don't
assumption,
know that.
we know.
You just said that we know that those aren't real, but now you're saying that we
The
can't
reason
have
I
certainty.
said no, and let me clarify, we speak about things as knowledge through justified true belief based on those three presumptions that I mentioned earlier. That's how we do things.
Do you
Of
know
course,
that?
we don't have 100% certainty.
But do you know that?
There's no 100% certainty for anything.
So you're
So
not certain
when
of
I
what you're saying.
Zulu, if you could provide, like,
But
I
hold
don't
on,
know,
hold
are
on.
you a religious
I'm
scholar?
I'm
Are
just
you a
I'm just
Christian?
I'm just asking if you're
Are you a
certain of what you're
Christian?
saying. I'm just asking if you're certain of what you're saying.
As certain as I can be about anything.
How
So
certain is
anyways,
that?
0.03567%. Okay. So
Okay, so not
now
certain at all. Again, Hume
no,
comes in.
that's
Hume
certainty.
comes
That's
in.
level of
Hume
certainty.
comes in and shows you have no knowledge.
Hume, yeah. So we could get into Hume, right? I do like that we are appealing to historical figures that knew significantly less about everything about the world
But
compared
what is
to
wrong about
the
the
average
argument?
person today.
But what is wrong
The
about the
argument
argument?
doesn't
No,
follow. The argument
no
doesn't
less
follow
about
because
the.
you had no
Hold on.
ability to
Hume knows less
ground.
about the world, but you don't know anything. Hume says you don't know
No,
anything. You
Hume,
agree with Hume.
Hume literally. I do know things, and I explain. So I'll explain
What things
again
do you know?
because I think you weren't listening when I
Can you
said it the
give me a
first time.
single proposition that you
The
know?
reason I said I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna help you out. The reason I said no is because through this system of justified true belief, we talk about things as knowledge when they're JTB, based on the three presumptions I mentioned earlier. Okay,
So
we
you
have
just
to.
assume it to be true. It's
Nope,
rooted down in
nope,
presumption.
never said that. Never said that.
It's
So this
rooted
is
in a
where we're
presumption.
confused again. I'm gonna help you out. I'm gonna help you out. We assume that the universe exists, that reality exists. We can't actually prove that thing. Do you get that?
Right. And that's the
Okay,
root.
cool.
And you say it's just an assumption.
Right, because there's no other way to get to something without proof apart from assuming it. Unless
Right.
you think there's
You're
a
just
third
you're just
option.
assuming it.
If you think there's a third option
Right.
that
We're
something
in
can
agreement.
be
You're just assuming it.
okay. Well, I'm going to ask you, do you think there's a third option? Do you think that you can demonstrate
Hold on,
something to
hold
be
on.
true?
I'm in total agreement. We're just assuming all these things, and
If
okay,
we're in
well,
agreement, then I don't
let's
know.
hold on. Let's go ahead. We're just going to assume these things to be true. What's the next step, sir?
Cool. I'll help you out. So now we have justified true belief, okay, as a way
And
that we can
justification means
ground.
tying it back to this assumption, right?
No, we just make the assumption to do anything. We behave
Right, but
as
how?
if.
What was the assumption for then? You know, you're my
Cool, cool, cool. Let me
epistemology
help you out. Let me
teacher
help you
here.
out.
So
The
let's
person.
tell me what this assumption is for, and how do we get from that to justify true beliefs?
Right. So the purpose of this assumption is to do anything. In order to do anything, you have to behave as
Okay,
if
so hold
the
on,
things that you are experiencing. Okay,
To
there we go. I
do
can't do the
anything.
interruptions. We can't do that. We can't do that. We can't.
Hold on.
You can't ask me a
Sorry,
question and
Professor. I just need to ask.
yeah.
It is necessary to have this assumption to do these things. Is that another assumption?
Uh,
Is that
no,
another
it's not.
assumption, or is
It's
that
not.
something
It's
we know
not
with
another
certainty?
assumption. It's not another assumption.
So we know that with certainty, do we?
Here, Zulu.
Hold
I'm
on,
gonna
Professor. I just want to know this one thing. That's all I want to know.
Zulu. Here's the problem that we're running into, right? I can help you. I can teach you. If you do the interrupting thing, it's going to be impossible for me to get anything out. Do you see how that doesn't work? I can't speak and
I
not
think it's
speak at
working
the
pretty
same
well.
time. That's a contradiction.
Right.
P or not
That's
P,
Oh,
right?
that's
so
cool.
we know we assumed that to not work, right?
Cool. So if I'm saying something though, you just can't interrupt. That's it. Okay. So
I
this
can't.
is what I'm.
Is that
Okay.
certain?
How
No,
are
you
we gonna
gotta
have a
stop.
conversation?
Stop.
Is it
Stop meta
certain?
talking. Like, just there's gonna be a little bit of interruption in the debate, docs. Like, just move on.
No, he's literally not letting me talk. He keeps doing this thing. I can't get a sentence out.
Well,
Uh,
Because
what would you like me to do?
everything you say is in contradiction with your assumption with your claim that we can't know anything.
I never said we can't know anything. That's
Oh,
not
so
what
we
I
can
said.
know certain things. What can we know?
I specifically said, and I'm going to say it again. When I use the term knowledge, we're referring to this thing, justified true belief. Okay? And once we base off these three presumptions about the world, we then start
Presumption. Hold on.
at
So you are rooting it in a presumption. So, because when people
okay.
normally say that
I
I
said this
know
so many
this,
times.
they're not saying they're presuming it to be true. That's normally not what people say.
No, they're referring to justified true belief, which is what I said. Are you listening? Can you repeat
I,
back to me what I said?
you said that when you're talking about knowledge, you're referring to this thing called justified true belief, where you're rooting it in
Mhm.
this assumption or presumption. You said there, which do
That's
you
not what
see
I'm
my
rooting
issue here?
justified true belief in. That's not
Okay,
no
so
no no.
how are you going about this
In
justification?
order justified true belief is rooted in evidence, analysis of evidence. In order
What is
to
the
do
evidence rooted in?
anything, right? Evidence regarding our empirical observations of reality. Now, in
And that's
order to
rooted in
do
the
that,
assumption that reality is real, right?
you do have to begin before you engage with reality.
There
You
we
have to
go.
assume reality exists,
There we
correct?
go. So it is rooted in an assumption on your view.
Okay. Actually, maybe I'm wrong about this. Help me out. So, if there's another way for me to know that reality exists, provide me with it. How do I figure it out?
Hey, come on, man. I was conceding on that point. I was saying, yeah, sure, we're going to assume all these things, and let's try and get to epistemology from there.
No, dude, maybe I'm wrong. I'm an idiot. I don't know anything.
I mean, you might be
Um,
wrong. I guess we can't
I'm
get to.
actually an idiot.
I guess if
I'm epistemologically illiterate. I don't know anything.
if we
That's what.
can't get to any truth from this starting point of your epistemology, then I guess
There's
we're
no such
stuck,
thing as
aren't we?
truth. Yeah, there's no such thing as truth or knowledge, right? None of those
I
exist. But
agree.
here, for my
So,
question.
can you
Here's my
validate
question.
determinism then? Because
No,
that
no,
was
no.
where
There's
we
no
are
such
at
thing
with
as
flow.
determinism. There's no
No such thing as
indeterminism. There's no
determinism. I
determinism.
agree.
There's no free
I
will.
agree.
There's no
I
nothing.
agree.
No free will. No determinism. Now, here's
I
my
agree.
question to you. How do you determine that the universe exists? How do you know that? Because you know that with 100% certainty, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Again,
How do you
it,
know that with
there,
100% certainty?
it is required for any amount of anything, every single observation you make,
I agree.
rests upon the fact that existence exists. You can abstract out from all of these individual observations. This thing exists. This thing exists. Oh, they exist. Oh, existence itself exists. That's how you come to it, right? And I think every alternative falls into fallacy, left, right, and center. That's my viewpoint. Yeah, whilst he's gone, please tell me somebody's recording this. Hello?
Hopefully.
Come on, doggo, clip it. Come on.
Not
Ah, shit,
recording right now.
Somebody only just started recording. We lost all of that beauty.
Hey man, I thought this thing was live.
Oh, someone's been recording for the past 20 minutes.
Oh, cool. That's probably going to capture most of it. Who is that?
Alpinian.
Alpinian. Please upload that to YouTube or something, and I'll post it in my server. I'll get everybody who could go watch that video. Yeah, so what was the whole liar? Yeah, no, the guy's just gone completely deafened. What was the whole liar's paradox thing going on about then?
Yeah, they were discussing liar's paradox. And then when you came in, the conversation kind of switches.
That's what I was assuming I was going to be talking about, but yeah, no,
Yeah. It's just like completely switched.
you know, I do not think that one went too well for him.
Certainly not.
I think he did all right.
Well, considering his opponent, I suppose it's you know, kind of like coughing baby versus hydrogen bomb. He put up an amicable fight.
I wasn't here earlier. Was there another debate that DK was doing?
Dairyfiend, if you want to come up, I know you're kind of the Conti end of the server.
That could
Dairyfiend.
be interesting.
I see touch on you're pretty argumentative about what Zulu's saying. If you
I think yeah.
Hold on. So wait, do you think that existence doesn't exist? You tell me.
All right, I was deafened. I got a phone call.
That existence exists. I think everybody can understand what that means. What are you looking for here? Do you want me to be like a rationalist here or something? Hold on, but do you agree with that proposition or not? We can talk about what follows from it later. I mean, we can talk about what follows from it later if you want. But I just need to know if you agree that existence does indeed exist. Hold on, but do you agree that existence exists? You think it's impossible? So hold on. You think it's impossible to agree with? Hold on. Do you? I just want to be clear here. You think it's impossible to agree with the statement existence exists? Okay. I have no further comment. You think it's impossible to agree that existence exists? Yeah, I guess it's bullshit that existence exists. I guess that's bullshit. This is incredible. Most of the Kantians, when they talk to me, they'll try and have this whole like cope. They're like, no, existence exists. That's so obvious. And like A is A. No, I can't. Hold on. I'm doing my little monologue here. Can't agree. Can't agree with all of these points on Aristotle. Can't I am doing a meta commentary here. I'm doing a meta
Well,
commentary here.
let's let him
silent.
like do his meta commentary. But Derry,
silent.
just let him respond,
Be silent.
and then
Be silent.
just let him respond.
Be silent.
Hold on for a second. Yeah.
Most of the time, when I'm engaging with these Kantians, and Cameralized, who's in the audience here, will be able to back me up on this. They're always doing these copes of like, well, no, existence exists. That's so obvious. Oh no, A is A. Yeah, no, we can't completely agree with Aristotle's logic and everything. So it is somewhat refreshing to get a Kantian on here who just straight impossible to agree with the statement that existence exists. It's very refreshing, I've got to say. So kudos to you for that, to be just very upfront and honest with what Kant is saying.
Yeah, so do you have a proposition for us about the world, or do you just want to keep asserting your own correctness?
Just any old proposition about the world?
Well,
I guess about
a
existence,
proposition? Yeah, you can't. Yeah, it just doesn't obtain proposition status. You don't actually. You
Okay,
haven't
that's
actually
what you
said
think.
anything.
If you think I haven't said anything, but
You haven't
also what I
you haven't
said
changed
is
anything.
to agree with.
No, you've admitted
ahead,
by your own
please.
words that nothing changes. You have no further comment. So if your
No, I
statement
didn't say
doesn't
that.
constrain our future actions, then it's just the consequences of your statement is the statement itself. It's circular. It doesn't actually give us anything to work with. So it's intractable. You're bullshitting us, and thank you for bullshitting us. I was really glad to.
I said we could later on go on to what existence entails, but you even just disagree.
That was the
with
first thing I asked. Yeah, you wanted to
you
force me to
disagree with
agree or
foundation.
disagree right
So, like,
away.
What the heck? How am I supposed to proceed with someone who thinks existence does not exist?
I'm trying to tease out the proposition
Where
from
am I-
your
where am I
assertion,
supposed
if
to
there
go
indeed
from
is
there?
one. But you don't
Like,
have a proposition. You haven't obtained a proposition yet.
What is a proposition? Does a proposition exist?
A proposition, broadly speaking, would be the meaningful contents of your statement. Your idea about the world that you're trying to communicate to me.
About the world. What is the world?
And not all assertions actually
What
obtain
is the world?
propositions. Assertions without propositions are called bullshit. A guy named Harry Frankfurt figured this out.
I don't know what bullshit means.
And
what does that mean?
okay. Bullshit is truth indifferent speech, which you're engaged in now.
Truth indifferent.
It's
okay,
not even.
What is truth?
It's not even capable of
what does
being
it mean for something to be
false.
true?
Well, to be a liar, you have to have some idea of what you think the truth is.
No, but what
the
is
bullshit?
Truth?
You don't even have to regard the truth at all.
What does truth mean?
Truth is anti-fragile ideas.
I don't know what that means.
Anti-fragile means we did our best to negate it and destroy the idea and undermine it from every angle, and it still survives somehow. So when we recursively negate ideas and refine them, whatever survives is true. Reasoning, discourse.
Like, can we just do any old method of trying to destroy these ideas? Like, can I just say all ideas are false?
We're constrained by the conditions of possibility of this conversation.
Conditions.
So we have to abide by the rules of discourse, right?
Okay, what are those conditions?
So those conditions are non-contradiction. You can't contradict yourself, and you can't negate negation.
How come
not? Because that's just naked differentiation. If you're not differentiating anything, then your discourse does no work. It's non-discursive.
So
it's like a baby's babbles,
we
right? You've made noises, but you haven't actually obtained any proposition yet. The next condition is, I just explained it.
Why is that
no differential work.
No, hold on. You just said there was like a baby's babbles, but why is that disallowed within a discourse?
It's not discourse. It's not assertoric.
But why is that not discourse?
What do you mean?
Definitionally,
why is babbling
it's
not discourse? So you agree we're babbling right now. You agree you're just bullshitting. Thanks for conceding again.
Hold on.
Really appreciate it, Zulu.
Hold on. If you're just saying
it's not discussion on a specific subject, which is what discourse is.
Let's keep it one.
If you're just saying it's definitionally not discourse, then you've just defined this thing out of existence. That doesn't work at all.
No, it's a transcendental argument from the conditions of possibility of discourse. For us to have any kind of discourse, we have to inherit some kind of syntax.
Why?
From whatever language we're using, right? Be that at formal logic equations or mathematics, algebra, or Klingon or English, we have syntax that we inherit. And you can't self-annihilate your own syntax, which you do when you try and say something like existence exists, right?
Why can't we have a discourse whilst annihilating syntax?
Do you want me to keep repeating myself?
You didn't answer that.
Because then the terms don't do any differential work. We're not actually...
What if they do and don't at the same time? What if Heraclitus was right?
Bro. You're negating non-contradiction. So you're undermining your ability to negate things. You're calling into question the very grounds of your questioning.
And I'm also not, right? So what is wrong about this? What is wrong about contradiction? This is what you're not getting. The thing that is wrong about contradiction is that it does not correspond to reality. Which, oh my god, that's where existence exists comes in. Whew, would you look at that one?
Again, you're just presupposing your own correctness. You're making a map. You're making a map territory mistake, right? You're confusing the map for the territory. So
okay.
If you want to keep assuming that the contents of your own mind are reality, that's fine. But you don't get to assert existence exists as if that's not just a naked tautology with no propositional content. It's not truth apt. It's not. It doesn't even rise to the level of being false.
Can you tell me if the law of non-contradiction is
falsify it? I can't negate it. I can't undermine it. It provides no constraints or consequences for the discourse. And the terms do no differential work. So in what sense does it actually constitute an assertion?
Hold on.
It's meaningless, glip-glop bullshit.
Could you negate the law of non-contradiction? Could you negate that?
In theory, you can, yeah. It's fallible.
Go on.
Right? There's just the defeat condition of non-contradiction is explosion. Right? So if non-contradiction is not obtained, explosion results. So there's a defeat condition. So that makes it fallible.
Are you under the impression that A is not a tautology?
It's not an assertion. It's an axiom of discourse, right?
Are you under the assertion?
Those are two different layers of abstraction here. No. An assertion is something that occurs within discourse.
Is not a tautology. Are you under that like?
I mean, yeah, it's a tautology, but it's not.
Oh, so it's a tautology, and yet it's true.
It's not true.
So just saying that
it's just an arbitrary rule that allows us to make. Oh my god! If we don't have stable terms, then we can't have anything be about anything else. There is no terms. It's all A. All A equals all everything else. From any A, we get Q. A is Q, is Y, is Z, is X. So you don't have any terms to work with. You don't have words. You don't have syntax. You don't have language. So there's no discourse happening. This is absurd.
What does is refer to if not existence? Is means existence. This is. This exists. That's what is means.
Yeah.
I don't want you to use the word is if you're going to deny existence exists.
Is means exists. Are you sure about that?
Mm-hmm. Or at least relates to existence.
How so?
Give me a counterexample.
See, this is not what I'm going to do. I'm not going to just let you make naked assertions and then make me do all of your homework for you. So either you have defeat conditions,
I'm not surprised that you're not able to
terms. You don't have any well-defined arguments. So you're just going to keep asserting yourself.
Is blue,
and we're not.
I'm referring to existence there. My dog is brown. I'm referring to existence there.
So what?
Whenever I say is, I'm referring back to existence.
So what?
So those are the examples.
So
can you give me any example where is doesn't refer back to reality?
What?
So
what follows? So what follows? Okay, so you've just asserted a tautology, right? You've just asserted your own statement as the consequences of your statement.
Where are all these retards?
There is no content of your statement.
Looney Bin just let out or something. Like, I was saying that is refers back to existence, which you are denying. I understand
this is hard for you to
understand. And you keep using is, and I've given you evidence that is referring back to reality.
I get that it's hard for you.
And now you have no counterexample. And you've said that you have no counterexample.
I don't have to produce a counterexample to do an internal critique of your discourse. You've already submitted to the terms of discourse by speaking.
Just hold on. Do you think you're winning this debate right now?
What does that have to do with it?
I just want to know. Do you think you're winning this debate?
Do you want to actually have this discussion, or do you just want to keep...
Do you think you're winning this debate?
What is all this posturing, bro? Like, you're not making any argument.
Do you think that you're winning
my position has been consistent this whole time. You haven't made an argument. You haven't established a proposition. And you just keep presupposing your own correctness. So I don't have to provide any counterexamples to point that out.
Okay.
I don't think this is going to go anywhere, and I think we're going to unmute karl darx and maybe continue that conversation.
Thanks for the debate.
Let's do the liar's paradox.
All right. We can, sure. That's fine. All right. The statement is false. Yeah. That's, of course, a proposition.
So what does this statement refer to?
The statement.
Just the words "this statement"?
This statement refers to the statement that this statement is false. That is a statement. That's what it's referring to.
Okay, so the statement is this statement is false is false.
It's self-referential. No, okay, the statement is this statement is false.
Oh, but what does this statement mean?
It's self-referential.
No, but can you just spell out what this statement means? Just the words "this statement." What do they mean?
Right. Okay, so statements. Sorry. Do you want me to find both words?
I want to do a substitution here. You're saying it's self-referential. Okay. So this statement is false means this statement is false is false means this statement is false is false is false means this statement is false is false is false is false, so on and so forth.
No, that's not accurate.
Oh, so you think it does terminate at some point?
No, yeah. So it's just that this statement is false is the proposition.
And what does this statement mean?
This statement is referring to the statement that was spoken, which is this statement is false.
Okay, so this statement is false means this statement is false is false.
No, that's not what that means.
You said it was the same as the statement, though. You said this statement referred to the statement itself.
It's self-referential.
The statement itself is this statement is false. So this statement can be substituted for this statement is false, which means this statement is false.
Incorrect.
Where did I go wrong?
Right. So you're confused. The fact that it's self-referential is just saying that the content of the statement, this statement is false, as a proposition is false. That's what it's claiming. Do you understand there?
I don't understand where I can't do the substitution.
The substitution's fine. The argument is this statement is false.
So I can do the substitution. Because this statement...
We're talking about the content. We both agree. We're talking about the content of this statement is false. That's what we're talking about.
We both agree. This statement means this statement is false. Is that correct?
This statement is referring to the statement being spoken, which is the statement is false.
Okay, so this statement refers to the statement being spoken, which is this statement is false. So this statement, quote unquote, means this statement is false. So this statement is false means this statement is false is false.
No, because that's not the content of what's being spoken.
Which step did I go wrong on?
Of course, if I'm saying this statement is false, this proposition itself would either be true or false. Do you agree with that?
I don't agree that as a proposition.
How is it not a proposition?
Because it's self-referential, because you can never understand what this statement means. So it doesn't actually say anything.
You wait. You can talk about it.
Is that true or false?
I don't think those were words. Are those words in a particular language? If they are, can you translate it to English?
True or false, surely. Well, that's either true or false, right?
If that's like an idiosyncratic, secretive Anglo language, I've never heard of it.
Is that true or false? No, I'm just speaking.
Well, can you translate it? I'm just not familiar with those words.
I could never translate it for you.
If you couldn't translate it, then I can help you out.
It's not a real language. It's gibberish.
Right, but of course we understand that I am speaking English when I say this statement is false, correct? Do you understand that? Do we agree?
What does this statement terminate in? Nothing.
What?
If you have a recursive statement like that, you don't actually have any termination there. So you can never evaluate the statement. So it's not an actual proposition.
No, of course it's a proposition because, okay, what do you think a proposition is?
I don't know. I couldn't give you a good definition of it.
Gotcha.
But I know that's
so
not.
in a proposition, actually, one of your fans said it earlier. He mentioned that, of course, you need a subject and a predicate in philosophy in order for something to be propositional, and the statement must be truth apt, meaning it's either true or false. So if the statement could either be true or false, and it has a subject and a predicate, it is a proposition indeed.
Yeah, I don't think it's truth apt, because I don't think you're actually making a statement there, properly speaking. Because this statement or this proposition doesn't actually refer to anything. It keeps looping back on itself over and over and over again. It never terminates in anything. You need to terminate in reality for it to be a truth apt proposition. Right? I could say the sky is red. I am terminating in reality there. And it's either true or false that the sky is red. But if I say
that time exists,
if I say this statement is gleep, where gleep doesn't mean anything, well, I'm not terminating in reality there. I'm just,
which is true, right? Because gleep, yes, because that's not like a word in the English language that I'm familiar with. So if instead we're saying this statement is false, you're saying this statement is false, whatever. But
no, I'm not saying. I'm saying it's not truth apt.
But here's the problem with it, right? When I say, I'm essentially saying it's false that the original statement is false, right?
Well, what is that
this would
statement?
still,
What is that original statement?
That this statement is false.
Which statement?
The one I just said, dude. I just said this statement is false.
Can you say it in full? Substitute this statement for the statement you're saying.
This statement is false.
No, but for the full thing. For the full thing. Because I want you to substitute this statement in the claim this statement is false. Substitute this statement in that.
This doesn't matter. You understand that the nested version still runs into the same paradox.
It runs into an infinite regress. You can never evaluate it. That's what it runs into.
It's just not true.
I'm not sure how well you understand.
The only way this could be true is if we have no ability in time to observe the statement. This statement is false. If that was the case, then that would be true. But unfortunately, we have eyes.
I don't know how familiar you are with computer science, but let's say I defined a function which all it did was call itself. Right? Would this function ever terminate in the Turing machine? Would it ever terminate?
So functions can refer to themselves in programming.
I'm aware of that, but all this function does is refer to itself. All it does is refer to itself. It's just f of x, and all f of x does is call f of x. That's all it does.
Yeah,
would
so
this
that
ever terminate?
Right, there's no problem with this actually. You could have.
Would it ever terminate? I'm not asking if there's a problem with it. Of course, a computer could run that function, but would it ever terminate?
It can, yeah, absolutely.
How would it terminate?
You can still have, for example, you just have a condition that stops the recursion.
Nope. Whoops-a-daisies. You've exited the hypothetical here. I said all it does is call itself. So would that function ever terminate?
If all it does is call itself, it probably wouldn't even be like syntactically valid, right? Because a function has to do a couple things. It absolutely would be. I don't know how familiar you are with computer programming, but you can absolutely make an infinitely recursive function. You can do something that's you can do something that's infinitely recursive, but it's still doing more than just calling.
Okay, so if you did this function where all it does is call itself, it does nothing else in the function body, would it ever terminate?
What's the function doing?
All it's doing is calling itself.
Well, then it's not doing anything.
It's a function called greep. Or let's just say f. It's a function called f.
Yeah, but it's not. So then it's not doing anything, right? Which isn't analogous to what I'm referring to.
Within the function body, it does do something. It has a single line within the function body. What is that line? It's f with the parentheses. It calls f, right? That is doing something. So f, when you run
right, so that's not what I'm talking about, right? Is it determining?
It calls f. Oh, I just want to know. Would this function ever terminate?
Yeah. So obviously, if you're talking about something that doesn't terminate, it doesn't terminate. But that's
so
not analogous.
I just want to be really clear here. That function would not terminate, right?
Can I detail why this is not analogous to the liar's paradox?
Hold on. Yes, right after this. I just want to be really clear. That function would not terminate, right?
Hold on one sec.
Okay, I trust that the audience is following along with this. I don't know how much people know about computer science, but it's safe to say that if you have a function which all it does is call itself, it's obviously not going to terminate. And if you have the liar's paradox, which keeps calling itself recursively, there is no condition to get out of that. It's going to go on forever in the exact same way.
Anyways, I gotta hop off. I just got a phone call. I gotta go. But
goodbye.
All right, peace.
See ya.
Okay.
What do you think about ABCT, Zulu?
I agree with the Austrian business cycle theory, but it has been a long time since I've actually studied it. So I'm not sure how good of a proponent I would be at the moment. Actually, post Keynesian over on the Austrian economic server, also known as Hamsters, he wanted to debate me on it, and I told him that, like, I mean, if he really wants to debate me on it, I will, but like, I'm not going to be a great proponent of econ at the moment because it's just been so long since I studied it.
So, I mean, I'm an Austrian, but I wouldn't say that I base my stuff off prax. Is your understanding of ABCTs that it's prax dependent?
Praxeology?
Yeah.
Let me try and think. I'm trying to remember my ABCT education.
I'm not trying to be confrontational or anything, but
no. I totally understand that. I'm trying to remember if I would think that.
Because to jog your memory, I think the most common, like, explicitly praxeological concept is the time preference stuff with the interest rates. But I'm kind of wondering if there's more to that.
Okay, so what I would say is probably that, well, the interest rates are basically setting how long run your investments should be. I'm assuming that's the connection there. If the interest rates are super low, then you can be more long run. If they're super high, then you got to be more short run. Is that what you're getting at?
Well, it's the idea that they convey the time preference, right? So they kind of show to entrepreneurs, you know, if the interest rates are low, obviously in the classical banking system, that's going to mean that there's more savings, right?
Yeah.
True. So that's kind of like my understanding. And I've read the theory, right? But I'm not a prax guy. But that's kind of where I understand the praxeology to come in, is that there's a misperception of time preferences due to artificially changed interest rates.
Yeah, the way I would put it is it's supposed to be showing how much has been saved. And I would definitely agree with that. Like, if you're muddling and introducing all this extra fiduciary media, you're making it seem like way more has been saved than actually has been saved. I really liked Newman, I believe his name is. He had this analogy of Robinson Crusoe where he takes these like hallucinogenic mushrooms and he hallucinates that he has way more capital saved up than he actually does. And so he invests in, like, you know, a big fishing trawler instead of like repairing his leaky roof or whatever. Like, I agree with that.
So my one pushback to that is if we lowered interest rates, it wouldn't change consumer demand at all. It would actually increase consumption, right?
Well, how does that affect the point being made?
Because the idea of ABCT is that business owners are fooled into thinking that consumers are saving more so they can invest more. But I'm not sure how that would happen if you're looking at your balance sheet and you see that your sales have actually gone up nominally, right? Like the assumption would be is that actually demand has gone up. So I don't know how people are tricked into assuming that demand's gone down and savings have increased if nominal consumption is increasing as well.
Well, like how do they how would a business owner figure out what the savings are? Like obviously he's not directly going like, okay, what are the savings currently? Like surely what he's looking at is the interest rates of loans.
But nothing I'm saying is dependent on them knowing that. And I would agree, that's a good point. They wouldn't be capable of knowing the savings. But they would be capable of seeing that, hey, nominal demands actually increased. We're seeing that we're selling more products. So that's kind of my issue.
I don't mean to cut you off too much. Like, I guess surely it could be the case that if I'm in like the mattress business or whatever, and then like, savings go way up for whatever reason, people just start saving a whole lot. But also people get really interested in mattresses for some other reason. And then my sales go way up, but also savings are way up. Like, could that not be the case?
Yeah, but the issue here is that if you lowered interest rates, you see nominal consumption increase across the board. So that's kind of my issue with it. Like if you base it only off of praxeology, and you don't base anything in empirics, it kind of seems like actors are irrational in the Austrian model. Because I would be running the mattress firm, like you said, and I would see that interest rates have decreased and I'm selling more, and I could assume, like you said, that hey, maybe people want beds more. Maybe there's like a bed bug infestation and we have to replace all the beds in the community, right? But then I would look around and I would see the economic activity overall is up, right? So I don't really know how I'd be fooled into that error.
I don't necessarily think that the praxeologic Austrians, I'll call them that, I suppose. Would Misasian be the correct term?
Yeah, I mean, I think I obviously accept that praxeology is in all econ, but yeah, yeah, sure.
So I don't think their claim is necessarily that it's impossible to tell that things have been futzed with, that you're getting wrong information here. It's that you can't access the right information anymore, and that's why you tend to get clustered malinvestment. I think that's the claim. It's not that, because obviously, fucking Peter Schiff, he saw a recession coming. I mean, there's definitely a recession coming right now. And I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice, but I have invested accordingly in businesses I think will do well in a recession. But like, I don't think the claim is that it's impossible to tell. It's that you don't have access to the proper information anymore.
Right. And I understand what you mean with that. I think my critique's a little bit more precise, though, is I don't understand, and like the Rothbardian, and then I think Salerno expands upon this too, is that the information skews you towards longer-term investment because you perceive a change in consumer preferences towards savings. But that doesn't really answer the point that economy-wide consumer consumption has increased, right? So I just, while I agree the information's distorted and we're going to see effects on different sectors due to the change in the price level and having frictions, I would disagree in saying that would somehow defend the critique I have of the time preference approach to ABCT, just because it wouldn't just be irrationality or a lack of knowledge. That would be very obtusely stupid, right, to not recognize that nominal consumption has increased.
So I might just be out of my depth here, but I don't understand the debate at that level. So my apologies, I cannot continue this.
That's fine. I was just curious because I talked to a lot of Austrians. Obviously, I'm an Austrian, and I don't know. I appreciate the conversation.
No worries.
What's up, Zulu?
Hello. Oh my god, it's Keynes.
Yeah, Keynes, yes.
I thought you died.
Yeah, I did too, but apparently I'm back from the dead. So there's that. I want to talk a little bit about ABCT, but if you don't like that, that's probably fine.
I mean, I can talk to it to the level that I remember it, but it's it's been probably a couple of years now since I actually studied econ.
Sure. So
I'm very rusty.
Yeah, I imagine you take the view that deviations from the natural rates, that's like equilibrate savings investments, or the real rate they call it, will cause some sort of malinvestments or whatnot.
Yeah.
By the monetary authorities, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess the view that I hold is that the natural rate's kind of ambiguous here, where I don't know what the natural rate means. Straffa has a critique that's basically just like, there's multiple sectors, right? So you could have a corn sector, and you could have like a gold sector, and depending on how much gold is lent out or wheat is lent out, there's no reason to think that the rates would converge to some unique rate, insofar as there wouldn't just be different rates, right?
Okay, I have to stop you here. I thought you were saying natural rights. Natural rates.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not familiar with this.
Yeah, it's just the conception that Hayek had in the 1920s ABCT formations. That's deviations from the natural rates cause some sort of issues with the investment boom and bust cycle. Right.
I'm afraid I might not be able to just give you a good answer here.
Okay.
Again, I'm out of my depth when it comes to econ.
You are a welfare proponent, right, Nicky Cans? Maybe that might be a better topic.
Economically, I'm still figuring out my philosophical views on it, but I mean, maybe. I guess I think there are.
If you want to do like the ethical argument for welfare, I can definitely do that.
Yeah, I might be out of my depth there, but yeah, I mean,
that's the unfortunate part. We're both out of our depths in different areas here.
Yeah.
It's definitely the knowledge problem on a micro level.
This is true.
Paper Bagman, I know, has a lot of critiques of property rights and libertarian ethics in general. I think he's a former ancap. I think he's a theist now. I'm not sure.
Deist or theist?
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
I actually had two things I wanted to talk about. So there is objectivist epistemology, which I completely disagree with. But before that, because I think it will be a lot quicker, I want to mention argumentation ethics, because I realized if you have argumentation ethics to be true, then okay, you ought never aggress, but you also ought always be arguing.
So I think argumentation ethics applies in a very specific context. It applies when you're justifying something. So if you're trying to justify something, well, then you are engaged in an argument, just factually true, right? And then there are certain things that you would contradict yourself in justifying. So it doesn't say you should always be arguing. It says that insofar as you are arguing, well, these are the things you have to agree to. So, for instance, I don't think that argumentation ethics itself establishes that you should never aggress. I don't think it does that.
Oh, okay. Wait, can I just interject then? Because I was under the impression that argumentation ethics, or at least under your view, argumentation ethics did get you ought not aggress ever.
Sure. Yeah, that is like certain formulations of it do have that, and I've even defended that before. But like I don't think just on its own it does that anymore.
Okay. Yeah, no, because I was thinking, yeah, like if you have this, then you ought always be arguing every second of the day, every day of your life. I guess that would work, just saying like it can only stop it from being argumentatively justifiable, but not actually prove it by itself. So that, I mean, I don't even, like, it doesn't even, but okay, if we're taking that, then how would it even be very useful? Because then you could just say, yeah, I can just aggress. So, well, I guess then you're in argumentation. Sure.
Yeah.
I don't care about argumentation ethics too much. I more so wanted to talk about objectivist epistemology.
Sure.
Okay. So, I mean, this would probably be easier if I could send like the not syllogism, but like thing through text, but I probably can't do that since you're not looking at that, so I'll just say it. So basically where I'm gonna lead you down a line that either leads you to with objective epistemology that either leads you to God being true, David Humean skepticism being true, therefore your epistemology collapses, or Spinozism being true, so you have determinism and no ethics. Okay, so the question I'm going to ask is, does existence require explanation?
No.
No. So it could have been otherwise?
No.
Why could it not have been otherwise?
It just is. Existence exists.
So existence is that necessarily okay? So existence just exists. It just does, bro. Is that necessarily true?
Yes.
So then, to be like to exist is to be necessary. You would say?
No.
Why not? How does that not follow?
For the man-made, it's not the case that to be is to be necessary. For the metaphysically given, it is the case that to be is to be necessary.
What is the metaphysically given?
It is anything which is not man-made. It is all those things like that gravity exists, so on and so forth. Those are the metaphysically given.
So so then you wouldn't say existence exists is necessarily true in relation to the existent of anything man-made?
It definitely is still true, but it's not necessary. There are there are alternatives as far as the man-made is concerned.
Okay, so how do you not have that existence requires explanation?
You're talking about the
yeah. My bad. So shit. I haven't studied this.
I'll just say what I was thinking when I answered that. When you were asking, does existence require explanation?
Yeah.
I was assuming you were meaning like, does existence itself, i.e., like the fact that things exist, does that require some base or explanation? And I was saying no, existence exists. That is the root level.
No, yeah, so I'm referring to existence itself, not even like the proposition existence exists, but existence itself.
Yeah, I don't think you can go any deeper than that.
You don't think you can go any, but okay, I'm not saying that you're like reducing it to other things, but just that, just the requiring for explanation.
Something can be like a primary explanation
as to why it is so.
I don't think there is any reason why it is so. It just is. That again, that is the root reason. That is the root level. There is no like something which makes it so, which is what it means to say that there's something required to make it so.
Wait, so it is so without having like reason to be so, without having explanation.
Yeah, the explanation doesn't make sense. Explanation is referring something back to existence.
But if you have but if it is so without explanation, then you have then you have no reason to then you have Humean skepticism because there's no reason for it to continue being so, and then any denial of this could only be done through sufficient reason for explaining why it is so, and then we're back to existence requiring explanation.
It could never stop being so, because then it would become the case that it is not so. Whoops, that is referring to existence. Not, that's again, it refers back to existence. Being refers back to existence. These are all terms that refer back to existence. You're saying that existence can stop existing, but then
I'm not saying it can. I'm not saying it can. I'm saying under your line of it not requiring explanation, there is no reason as to why it must be.
That is the reason.
That is okay. So then there is existence does require explanation. Do we have that?
No, I don't think it requires explanation.
You just explained it though. You just had to give an explanation.
I explained why existence couldn't stop existing.
Okay, yeah. So that is explanation for existence.
No, that's not the same thing.
Absolutely, it is.
I'm not explaining how existence came to be.
No, that's not what I'm asking.
I'm explaining how you couldn't have non-existent.
So it's
that
like
which is, that which isn't.
Yeah, so that's fine. You can just explain why it must be so, but that's still an explanation.
Sure, if you're talking in that sense.
Okay, so then would you say that do you know, are you familiar with Leibniz's, the philosopher, principle of sufficient reason?
Not particularly, no.
It holds that everything, every entity or fact or true proposition has a sufficient reason, cause, or explanation for why it is so, and not otherwise.
Has a sufficient reason or cause for why it is, and not
reason,
otherwise.
Cause, or explanation why it is so, and it is not otherwise.
Okay.
I would ask if you agree with that.
Hold on. Let me actually write this down, because this is gonna get complex. One moment, please. Okay, can you please state the principle again?
Here, yeah. A philosophical. I'm reading this exactly so I don't mess it up. A philosophical doctrine stating that everything, every entity, fact, or true proposition must have a sufficient reason, cause, or explanation for why it is so, and not otherwise.
A philosophical doctrine stating that everything, every statement, fact, everything, for why it is so and not otherwise.
Yep.
Must have a reason for, surely.
What?
So it is the claim of the principle of sufficient reason that it is a philosophical doctrine stating that everything, every statement, fact, everything must have a reason for why it is so and not otherwise.
Yep, the principle of sufficient reason says that is true.
Okay. No, I disagree with that.
Okay, why? Or like what's the counter? Why or what's the counter? Example.
Sure. So axioms. I don't think there's something that for why it is the case that there's an axiom. I don't think there is a case why there is the universe, for instance. I don't think there is the alternative there, because this is like why it is as against otherwise. Like I don't think there is an otherwise in the case of axioms or like the existence of the universe. There is an otherwise in the case of like the assassination of John F. Kennedy, right? That's where you can have an otherwise. I don't think there's an otherwise for the metaphysically given. I think that is immutable.
Okay, so if you have like brute factism for things like, say, gravity, like that's something you say metaphysically given, right? Or like the universe, because that depends on something like that. Sure. So then you have with brute factism that it is so without reason or explanation, without explanation for why it is so. Then you have Humean skepticism because there is no reason as to why it must continue being so. And
there actually is a reason.
It's just so that it happens to be so. And
no, the reason is A is A.
Yeah, you're really trying to get that's a tautology, bro. Come on.
And it's true.
How does that answer the problem?
I can give you a syllogism actually for why the metaphysically given is absolute.
Syllogism for I'll write it down. I guess this will answer what I was saying.
I can actually just post it in the chat as well, so you can quickly refer to it.
Sure. Yeah.
And I'll say out loud. So, all action is action of entities. Every entity has only one action available to it at any given time. Therefore, the metaphysically given is absolute.
All right. I just put that in a document. All action is action of entities. Every entity has only one action available to it at any given time. By available to it, what do you like? It only can do one thing at once.
Yeah.
Or are you saying like, therefore the metaphysically given? How does that follow? How does the conclusion follow from those premises?
So there are no actions outside of the actions of entities, and every entity can only do one thing at any given time. So where would the alternatives come in, as far as the metaphysical given is concerned?
Where would the alternatives come in?
Yeah. If there's only one action available to any entity at any given time.
Okay. If there's only one action available to any given entity at any given time, why is there like a problem?
Because then the metaphysical given is absolute.
How did you get there? Why is the one action like why did it doesn't give you okay, so gravity had to be gravity had to be so without explanation.
Even moreover, like assuming it wasn't like aliens who made the Earth couldn't have been made in some other way.
What, so you have determinism then? Like how do you have that?
Determinism as far as non-conceptual beings are concerned, yes.
How do you have that the world could not have been otherwise? Or been in a different way?
Because every entity has only one action available to it at any given time.
As in it can only do one thing at once. That doesn't mean that there aren't multiple.
No. In any given set of circumstances, there's only one thing it could ever do. It can't do multiple things.
Okay,
we objectivists would reject, for instance, causal indeterminacy as posited by the quantum physicists. We would reject that. There's multiple different things that something can do at a given time.
Okay, wait. I think I'm gonna like eventually backtrack this to something we were talking about earlier, but I just want to inquire further. How do you escape this with humans?
So humans have the one action available to them, namely to choose. That's where the difference comes in. Humans have a unique nature where we are able to choose. That doesn't exist for the rock. It doesn't exist for the electron. It doesn't exist anywhere else in nature.
So to choose, everything has one possible. Everything has